Shalom Israel partners, and welcome to our weekly update. We're standing on the soil of Jerusalem right now. Behind me is Mount Herzl. This is the national memorial place for Israel, but it's also the hub, the center of Zionism in Israel. Literally behind me, this is the place where Benjamin Zeev Theodor Herzl is buried. He's the visionary, the dreamer of the Jewish state, the man that literally worked and labored so hard for people to come back and return to Zion. And I brought you here because we are now in the midst of a war, literally a war, not only a war within the borders of Israel, but also an international war against anti-Semitism. Right now in many places, in many campuses around the world, specifically also in Columbia University, they're speaking about and trying to compare between Zionism and anti-Semitism, and Zionism to be terrorism, Zionism to be racism. The whole idea of Herzl was for the people of Israel, for the Jewish people, to have a homeland, a state just like any other nation in the world. And coming here to this place, seeing all these soldiers that are coming here in the midst of the war, during their training times, the times that they practice and training to become, official soldiers, they bring them here to educate them, to teach them about the openness of Zionism, about the whole idea of what it means after 2,000 years of absence to return back home, to return to Zion. And standing here, it's a demonstration of understanding and faith in the Lord God of Israel, because without His miracles, there's no way in the world that we could have returned to Zion after all these years, after the fact that so many people around the world, so many anti-Semites are trying to erase us from the face of the earth. As we're speaking right now, the Iranians are plotting. They just launched an attack about a week ago against Israel. As I got down from my car, I was hearing already rockets and missiles that has been launched by the Hezbollah in the northern fronts of Israel. Literally, the war on the borders of Israel never ended, but the war against anti-Semitism, this is the one that we need to conduct right now throughout the whole world, where people are trying, and with the same breath, they are comparing Zionism with Nazism. They are comparing the way that the people of Israel returned back home to Zion as an atrocity. This is something that we need to unite against, and this is something that we have to target, because the fact that in many campuses around the US and other places in the world, the adversary, the enemies are overtaking the heads and the minds of the youth, teaching them the wrongs and educating them in a way that is against God's will for the land and for His people. Us Jews and Christians, we have to stand together against all that. We have to speak up. This is the time for us to speak up to every pastor, to every minister, to every rabbi, to go out against those people, to speak, because silence is consent. We need to talk to our congregation. We need to teach them and educate them that just like any other nation in this world, the Jewish people has been spread around the whole world for 2,000 years after the destruction of the temple. They returned to their home, to their lawful home, to the place that was the land of their forefather, to the city of Jerusalem, which was the capital of King David 3,000 years ago. And we cannot compromise, and we cannot agree and accept the fact that everywhere and in many places there are liars that are telling something different to the youth. They're telling them that Israel is the aggressor. Israel was sitting on and trying to celebrate a holiday of Simchat Torah when we were invaded by massive amount of thousands of terrorists. They were the Nazis. They came and killed and slaughtered and raped and destroyed and kidnapped. As we're speaking right now, there's 133 Israelis in the tunnels of Hamas who's been kidnapped, innocent people taken from their homes, taken from their towns and villages, and brutally held in the hands of Hamas in Gaza. Israel is the righteous in this side. You have to remember this. And the Jewish people, all they want is just peace. This is the only religion in the whole world that 2 times a day our verses of the prayer are ending with the word peace. God, please give us the strength and bless us with peace. That's what we're seeking for, while the rest of the so many people around the world wants to destroy us and take us out. I trust you, Jewish and Christian people, standing together in the gap, standing with Israel, knowing what Zionism is. Zionism is return to Zion after the Jews has been brutally kicked out of the land, has been slaughtered in pogroms, has been destroyed and murdered by the Nazis. This is when Israel returned back home with the ideas that were given birth by Herzl and other Zionists. The leaders of Israel in the past are buried in this place. In the back, this is the military cemetery of Israel. In the other side, this is the Holocaust Museum. We are in the mountain of remembrance, Mount Herzl, the place when there's nothing more righteous than that. There's no more righteous act in this world but for the Jews to return back to the home of their forefathers. And therefore, I want you, as I said, now it's the time to speak up. If you see that there is a protest against Israel or pro-Palestine, you should go out and tell them the truth. I love you a lot, Doobie. Shabbat Shalom from Jerusalem. Bye for now.